time to talk commitments. We've got Florida State, Oklahoma, Texas, Notre Dame, and more right here on the Portal Podcast.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back to the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football writer and recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. I'm on the road traveling, getting ready to go to Rivals 5-Star, getting ready to go to Under Armour Future 50 and OT7 finals. As it is, I'm visiting some family right now, but my internet connection is not friendly. So I'm going to keep this very short and just run through this. I will have more information as I get somewhere else. It's a little bit better spot. But for now, we've got quarterback commitments to talk about and just a lot of players in general. So let's run through these as quickly as we can. First off, congrats to the Oklahoma Sooners. They have landed Bo Bentley over the weekend. That long drawn-out drama between the Sooners and the LSU Tigers ends in probably one of the more important commitments of the year. Not only is he dynamic, Brent Venables and his staff, they needed this win. It's good for job security. It's good to project to the boosters and everybody else that, hey, we've got a dynamic playmaker. There's no doubt. Bo Bentley is a dynamic playmaker coming to Norman, Oklahoma. This should help recruit other running backs, offensive tackles, wide receivers, and everything else. Congrats to Brent Venables and his staff. With Bo Bentley becoming a Sooner, Jaden O'Neal is no longer a Sooner. He's going to Florida State. It's the second year in a row, by the way, that Florida State is getting a commitment as a quarterback that was previously committed to OU. How random is that? Welcome to college football and why it is the greatest sport on earth. Florida State gets Jaden O'Neal, 6'3", 215, originally from California, but now plays at Mustang, Oklahoma High School. I believe this is a kid that can move well enough to at least run Gus Malzahn's offense, but more importantly, mature, smart kid, avoids the first guy. He's really annoying to get to the ground. And when he does run, he is a big dude. I've been around Jaden, very athletic kid in terms of getting around the corner, but 6'3", 215, still 6'3", 215. It's not a lot of fun to tackle. So I think he will be pretty effective when he has to do that as well. Congrats to Florida State. Just like with Oklahoma, they're coming off a terrible season last year. You need recruiting momentum. They absolutely got that. They got Francis, too, another kid that I'll talk about coming up hopefully in the next week or so. I need to watch more film of him. He's a kid coming over from NFL Academy in Europe. I don't know a lot about the program. They sent a few kids overseas. But this is a 6'5", 335-pound offensive / defensive lineman. So Florida State gets 2 this weekend. They also lost Xavier Payne, but I think that was kind of a mutual parting of the ways. Offensive lineman from the state of Florida. I think he will end up at Syracuse, if I was to guess, but I'm not sure where he's going. Florida State gains 2, loses 1. Texas has picked up some players, but overall, I think here's the main thing with Texas. I'm going to come back to them again later this week. I expect the Horns to have a very big week. Again, I'm going to do it all kind of at once for Texas, but their commitment list is good. Notre Dame just got Preston Frizzell, the tight end from Toledo Central Catholic. Really, really good player. Notre Dame getting a kid from a Catholic school is not shocking, but they need tight ends in this class, believe it or not, because Notre Dame's one of the better tight end programs in the country, but their depth chart at tight end is not what it usually is right now, in my opinion. And Eli Raridan will be a senior for the Irish, so they certainly needed that, and they probably want to get at least one more tight end in this class. So let's just run down some of the commitments in general now. Tyron Wortham. Michigan State flips this kid from UCF. Really good player. I'm not really sure what the whole situation is, but him committing shows that Michigan State is back trying to get kids out of Florida. They've always gotten a few, but I didn't know that they were really in the boat to get Wortham, so good for them. Devon Young out of Theodore, Alabama is going to Mississippi State. Defensive lineman, 280 pounds. Mississippi State's got a long way to go, but getting defensive linemen is a priority. Good for them. Jaden Boyd out of Fairfield Central and Winsboro, South Carolina. Cornerback, 5'9", 165. Going to Duke, program that is definitely on the rise. Miami gets a Shari Charles, good pass rusher. Absolutely. Out of Venice, Florida. 6'3", 230 pounds, athletic kid. This is somebody we've known about for a couple of years. The Hurricanes get it done for Ashari Charles. Richard Wesley, this is one of the kids. Texas is getting ready to start rolling here in recruiting. This is one of these guys. He's a kid that reclassed. 6'5", 250. I think he will eventually end up inside, maybe play strong side in for the Horns, but he's a national recruit. Some people have him as a 5-star possibly by the end of this year. There's been discussion about it, but he's out of Sierra Canyon High School. I believe that's in the Los Angeles area. Texas got him over Oregon, where he was previously committed, and many, many more schools. Caleb Triplett, linebacker, 6'1", 220 pounds, out of D'Iberville, Mississippi. He's going to Mississippi State as well. Temple gets Alex Hanks out of East Orange campus in East Orange, New Jersey. He's a safety, 6'1", 195 pounds. Isaiah McMillan out of Katy, Texas, cornerback, 6'1", 170. He's going to play for the Kentucky Wildcats. This is something that's wild. It seems like every time I'm going through the list, I see Sacramento State. Jordan Taylor, running back out of St. Louis University High School, going to Sacramento State. That is really wild. We got a couple of kids committed to Fresno State. Chase Perino out of Central Catholic in Modesto, California, 6'1", 180. He's an athlete. And Dallas Galis, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I'm just going to mess it up. 6'5", 210 out of Millard, South Omaha, Nebraska. Kid going out to Fresno. Temple with another commitment. Darius Pope, wide receiver, 6'2", 196. Going to the Temple Owls. We got Boston College with Bruno Werner, offensive tackle, 6'9", big boy, 275 pounds. He's out of NFL Academy, another guy from overseas coming across the pond, play for BC. Ty Crothers out of Garland, Texas, wide receiver, 6 foot, 185 pounds, staying home to play for the Ponies. Maryland picks up a commitment. Another guy kind of local to them out of Baltimore, St. Francis Academy, famous program. 6'2", 180 pounds, going to play for the Terrapins. We got Purdue getting a commitment from Dream Rashad out of Buford, Georgia, tight end, 6'6", 225, playing for the Purdue Boilermakers. And we've also got, we're not even close to done, really. There's a lot of kids I'm skipping over here, but Preston Hall at a Ridge Point in Missouri City, Texas, just outside of Houston, 6'3", 215 pounds, going to go play for the Knights. Mississippi State with another commitment. They flipped Zion Crumpton, who was committed to USF. He is now going to go play at Mississippi State. He's from Carver High School in Montgomery, Alabama. He's a kid I've seen. He can fly, 6'1", 185 or 175 pounds. That kid's a great kid, too. Zion Crumpton going to play for Mississippi State. Rowdy Pierce, Midland Christian, Midland, Texas, one of those West Texas kids, 6'3.5", 285 pounds, going to play for the Utah Utes. USF, Mason Mathis, Pace High School, just outside of Milton, Florida, in the Pensacola area. He is going to be a USF Bull. Northwestern, Nick Costa, St. Augustine Prep in Richland, New Jersey, defensive lineman, 230 pounds. Northwestern gets a kid from the East Coast. We've got a whole bunch of kids going to Sacramento State that I don't know about, to be honest with you. Jonathan Rulo, Belleville East in Belleville, Illinois, defensive lineman, 6'2", 285, Cincinnati Bearcats. And again, Preston Frizel, tight end, 6'4", 220 pounds, going to play for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and Marcus Freeman. That is your list. And again, my internet is not the greatest, so I'm going to get out of here real quick. But thank you very much for checking us out. The last thing I want to say before I get out of here, Georgia is going to have a big week. A big week. It is not out of the realm that the Dogs get a commitment every day this week. In fact, Mr. Woke over at the podcast, or excuse me, the 247 Georgia site, he's got a great article on it. I read tons of different articles, guys that I've met along the recruiting trail, other recruiting analysts. Mr. Woke has a great one. If you follow Georgia, I highly recommend you checking out the 247 site. They do a great job over there. But the Dogs, they're about to go on a serious run. So is Bama. There are a few other schools. Clemson, I think, will get a few commits in the next little bit. But this run for Georgia this week, this might be their biggest. And then next, depending on the exact days, Georgia or Bama over the next 10 days will be the most dominant program. So not really shocking. When we see you again, it'll probably be in a better location for me to do podcasts. Thank you once again for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Everybody have a good one.